Don Taylor here with Franchise Success Partners, and I've got my friend Dustin Costero visiting from Benetrends. And Dustin was kind enough to come and share with us today about a unique program that's available in franchise lending and business lending called the ROBS program. And so a lot of my candidates are looking for different ways, different strategies to fund their projects. This is one where people can actually leverage retirement funds and invest in their own business, tax and penalty free, as a way to get cash involved in their project. And so before I goof it up too much, Dustin, I want to bring you in. Dustin Costero, thank you for joining us. Before we dive into the ROBS program, tell us a little bit about yourself, your background, and how Benetrends helps candidates in franchising.
Definitely. Thank you for having me today, Don. I truly appreciate it. It's always nice to, be here and speak with you. So my background, just so you're aware, we're here to speak about the ROBS program, or better known as the Rollover for Business Startup, which you got it perfect there, Don. What it is accessing pre-tax retirement funds, penalty and distribution free, to either cover a cash injection, franchise fees on a business, or even finance the entire thing. My background, just so you're aware, I was in the mortgage industry for the better part of a decade. So finance has kind of worked for me across the board. You are correct. ROBS is one of those vehicles that clients can access, which most people don't know about. And it's always fun speaking through that with clients on how they can make this dream of business ownership or exiting the shackles of corporate America in a way that they didn't even know was available to them.
Yeah. And so for each project, Dustin, right? I mean, and I always try to talk to my candidates in terms of projects. If they're looking at maybe a home service business, and according to the FDD, it may call for $200,000 for the whole project to get the plane off the ground. There's always going to be some sort of cash component to that project. Can you help us understand a little bit about how ROBS may fit into that? Even when candidates are looking to pair it with another strategy, maybe pair it with an SBA loan.
Yeah, and so a lot of what we've been seeing, obviously, coming out of the pandemic, is banks are looking for more qualified candidates. Not saying that financing isn't available for everybody, but the benefit that a lot of my clients have came to is you can access your franchise fees or even the entire business startup through the rollover process. The beautiful thing about that, like you're saying, is then you can maintain your personal cash liquidity that's in your checking savings account. So when lenders look at your project, it makes you an even more qualified buyer because you put that 10, 20% in that lenders are looking for, but you still haven't touched any of your personal cash liquidity in your checking savings account.
Yeah, great point. And you mentioned that, more qualified buyers these days, things are under a little even more of a microscope, or maybe just taking a little bit longer. One of the things that my candidates in particular like about this ROBS program is it's a much quicker process. Walk us through that.
Yeah, so again, in accessing the rollover process, I tell my clients, let's always budget for a month. Simple reason being is as part of what we do is we're going to file your incorporation, your business entity, your articles, your documents. We'll handle all the movement of funds for you. So from your account into your new business. One of the great things we'll speak about here in the future, I imagine, is not only accessing those funds, but the ability to regrow them while you're operating a business. But you are correct. We're getting these done in about 2.5 to 3 weeks. Again, let's always err on the side of caution of about a month. Well, when we're looking at SBA, things are taking a little bit longer. Kind of what happened was they funded the PPP, CARES loans, all of that through the SBA 7A program, which is a lot of what, clients look for financing franchise startups or business startups. It took a 30 to 45 day program up to 3 months, 4 months. Again, there's ways to expedite through that process. And again, we're always here to discuss. Pick up the phone, give us a call. But again, it's one of those things that we always plan for. So you are correct. If we're looking to access the ROBS program, cover our franchise fees, hit our training and development, right, we can have all that going on while we're in line waiting for our SBA loan to be approved.
So a program like this, there's going to be costs involved. You started to talk about some of the things that you do, help them establish their entity and get everything set up and structured. Can you walk us through a little bit of the fee structure so people know what's coming?
Yeah, so Benetrends has a one-time setup fee. It's just shy of $5,000. It's $4,995. More or less what that covers is everything. Like I said, we're going to do your incorporation of your business entity. We're going to file all your articles, all your documents for you. We handle the movement of funds, and then we'll also create that corporate, or that, we'll have you go out. One of the great things with Benetrends is you can choose which lender you would like to partner with. So if you want to be at a local community bank to open your business checking account, or if you want to be in one of the big box banks, that's up to you. We'll get you all your articles, documents to go and open that business. Then those funds will be transferred directly into your corporate checking account.
Awesome. You oversee all that, make sure it happens smoothly. And a lot of these, there's costs involved in doing that on our own if we tried to figure out a way to pull this all together ourselves, right? So
very true. The biggest thing you get with Benetrends too is the track record of it. My company actually created this program in 1983. A gentleman by the name of Len Fisher, who founded Benetrends, is actually an ERISA attorney. So he kind of figured out, if you don't know an ERISA attorney, they more or less write corporate tax code. So that's what they do. But again, that being said, he figured out the workaround that larger corporations were doing and simply brought that to the public sector for everybody to take advantage of. Yeah. Now, moving forward, you are correct. The $49.95 is what covers that. But the great thing about Benetrends is we stand behind our product. So again, in the 38 years now that we've been helping clients, create this program, gain access to their funds that way, we've never had a plan out of compliance. So we stand behind our work in the fact where we have attorneys on staff that will defend your plan if anything ever does happen. And again, the track record of having zero plans out of compliance is always something to hang your hat on.
That's awesome. And so your group is maintaining this, overseeing this on a monthly basis, right? It's not a set it and forget it type of thing so much that it's got to be maintained and within tax guidelines, right?
Correct. Yep. And that's the big thing is a lot of people come to the rollover process to do exactly what you're speaking about, is gain access to funds that maybe they don't have or a way that they didn't think about before. But one of the greatest parts about the rollover process is we're creating a new custom retirement plan for your new corporation. So in essence, what you can do, and I would love to speak to anybody about this, is as your profits come in on your business, you can simply shelter a portion of those back into a pre-tax position and not pay taxes on them. So a lot of my clients come just as a way to gain access to fund that dream of exiting corporate America. But as we begin to discuss, it's also a way to borrow from yourself pre-tax to regrow pre-tax while you've created another income stream.
Right. And a lot of my candidates, part of their concern on the front end is, well, man, I've saved this money for so long and now I'm going to draw it down to use for my business. You've done a wonderful job of helping people understand, look, it's really meant to be temporary. The goal is for you to borrow it from yourself and then replenish it and grow from there.
And one of the big things I always tell clients when I speak to them is, look, it's not about how much money you make as a business owner, it's how much money you keep. And this is just one of those strategies of a way to shelter more funds back into a pre-tax position. And that way, you can continue to diversify as you move into that goal of retirement that we're all trying to get to.
Yeah. Dustin, you always do such a great job with my candidates. I always appreciate the time that you invest with me and with them. Is there anything else you'd like to share about just the state of lending or anything else you'd like to share with our viewers?
Yeah, that's a big thing is I get a lot of candidates coming to me that say, we can't finance, there's lending not available. The one thing I always tell my clients is a lot of times if you go to a local lender, they don't have the avenues available that a company like Benetrends does. Again, I'm not a bank. Like I always tell all my clients, what we are is we're a loan consultant, loan broker. But again, it's something where I can let you know we work with about 1,400 franchise concepts nationwide, and there definitely is lending available. I also always tell my clients there is no blueprint for business financing. So what's going to work for Don isn't going to work for Dustin. Yeah. And so part of what that is figuring out exactly what works for you. And then if you decide to become a business owner, we'll help you and assist you through that process.
One other thing I want to touch on, Dustin, is in the past, when I visit with my candidates about this, I encourage them to reach out to you guys early because one of the benefits that you provide is you'll coach them through all the opportunities that are available to them and even get them all the way to the pre-qualified state before they would ever have to invest fees and sign contracts, etc.
1000%. Yeah. So part of it is, the biggest scare or hurdle that a lot of people have is, can I afford this? It's the same thing when people are looking to buy a house. We always want to do it, but can we? And that's where we work through it. I have a free pre-qualification. I'm not asking for a social, so I'm not pulling your credit. But again, what it allows me to do is work through the process of what you can afford. At that point, if you decide business ownership isn't for you, I've never willed anybody into buying a business. That's what we're here for, is to help through those strategies of, yes, I can make this a reality. Then let's go through the process and see if any of what Don is showing me is a fit for me. But again, that's how we always approach. It's very consultative. I'm not here to sell you on a financing strategy by any means. I'm here to let you know how you can make this a reality. Then at the end of the day, it'll be your decision if and when you're ready to pull that trigger.
100%. And it lines up exactly with the way that we approach things with our candidates too.
That's it. You guys are in wonderful hands with Don. I've had the pleasure of working with him for many years. And again, it really is that, we're here to assist you guys. If there's questions that pop up, don't ever hesitate to pick up the phone. Like I tell my clients, if there's a question you have, I guarantee it's been asked before. And that's kind of what we're here to do, is to make this as comfortable as possible while you're drinking from that fire hose of franchise discovery.
That's it. That's the ROBS program with Benetrends and my good buddy, Dustin Costero. Thank you so much for your time today and helping provide some value to our listeners.
Thanks for having me, Don. I truly appreciate it.
Thanks, Dustin.